Yeah.
Good gaming, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Zider, and today we're gonna watch some Noob play cEDH. In today's game, we've got a WUBRGSisay, a Kinnan, a WUHeliod, and a Korvold. As deck goes, Sisay will try to ramp up, get WUBRG, or get a Agatha Soul Cauldron. She will go fetch some combo pieces or stack pieces, and she will try to win the game with a... usually it's a Planeswalker or Infinite combo. I don't remember which they are in this. Right after we got Kinnan. Kinnan is still... This is a pre-ban game, but the new Kinnan tech is still the same. The only difference is that it doesn't have a mana crypt. But the name of the game anyway is to go get Basalt to do infinite colorless and then do some shenanigans with it. I believe they still run I believe they should run Agatha Soul Cauldron, because Agatha Soul Cauldron can allow you to pay colorless for any activated abilities. WUHeliod is a funny one. So what you want to do is to get him on the board, flip him, then everything as flash, and you play a bunch of wheels, and then you get one colorless less per card drawn by your opponent, which means that if you wheel, all your spell costs 21 less, which is kind of busted, to tell you the truth. If you can right after do Seagate Restoration for, I believe it's 2 blue, that is broken. And then he can actually just mill everybody that way, loop stuff, and that's it. Korvold post ban is not sure on, well, pretty much unplayable. Pre-ban it was I get Dockside, I cast Dockside, sacrifice, cast Korvold, sacrifice Dockside, reanimate Dockside, and all of these crazy shenanigans. Every time he sacks something, he draws a card. So that was the name of the game. Broodlord into... I don't even remember how he kills. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. And there they go, asking around, do you have any pre-game shenanigans? Seems like no one got a Gemstone Cavern, so we will start with a Mystic Remora. First player, Mystic. Mental Misstep is a good call on that one. Now, of course, it might be a... Well, it's not a misplay. It's always a good thing to get rid of the Mystic if you don't see a Mystic right after. But it is what it is. You don't want to feed a fish, and giving a card advantage to a Sisay player, well, giving a card advantage to anyone is not a good idea. But you mental misstep the first one you see, and then you hope you're not going to have a reason to have kept your mental misstep. But usually, mental misstep is to be used first turn to stop any Soul Ring or whatever shenanigans. Cephalid Coliseum for Eliod. Skirk Prospector for Korvold. Goes to turn 2. Sisay thinking about feeding the fish. Not doing anything. Everybody is holding on to not feed the fish. Kinnan dropped turn 2 with a fish on board. So it's never a good idea to... Well, they can't do pretty much anything. You either REB, Pyroblast. So starting to feed the fish, Eliod dropping a Fulwar Stone. Korvold's crack into something will shortcut to a gets a Badland and pass. 1, 2, 3. Olivia mobilized for war. So Korvold, end of turn, wants to do something. He lightning bolt the Kinnan. Mystic will resolve. Kinnan will get bolted. So he didn't have that much on hand. So sure he's gonna pay for the fish. Kinnan is gone. Why would he not? Ancient Doom drops a Monovolt. So getting a lockdown on the game. Fishy fish first turn. People will try to not feed the fish, so it will significantly slow down the game. Azorius Signet feeding the fish once again. It's not that bad because he paid, for now he paid 3 for 2 cards, which is, it's better for than nothing. As you've seen, he had nothing else to do anyway. Dockside. Dockside before. So as we've said, every time he sacrifices something, he'll be able to put a +1/+1 on Korvold and draw a card. So at this point, if he gets Korvold out, it's actually a draw engine. But using all 4 treasure, for Korvold leaves him with not much open. Korvold ETBs, he has to sacrifice something. He will sack Dockside, draw a card. So they're talking about how they can abuse Manavolt, but you cannot abuse, well, the only time you have a trigger on the board is on your upkeep. Manavolt can only be untapped on your upkeep, and you need to tap 4 on upkeep to untap it. And you cannot just re-tap it for 4 to untap it. It doesn't work like that. There's only one trigger. It's not gonna re-happen over and over again. 7. Nezahal. So yeah, it is no maximum end size. Whenever somebody casts a non-creature, you can, well, whenever an opponent, you can draw a card. No maximum end size is a good thing, and you can discard 3 cards to phase him out until end of turn. I don't remember if it's exile or I believe it's exile until end of turn. Not quite sure though. Displacer Kitten. Good to do some shenanigans if you have a multiple 0 CMC stuff. Because it flickers, so you need to get a bounce, like a Teferi, to be able to bounce something in. LED cast Nezahal trigger. So he lost a fish, but he got a Nezahal trigger. So he's playing LED not because he wants to actually sacrifice him. He'll play it to sack to Korvold when he attacks. It's Kinnan for 6. Will sack the Skirk Prospector for a red. He's only digging for answer at this point. So with 4 mana, will he be able to do something? It is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kitten also. 2 kittens, Nezahal. This is getting a bit weird and dangerous. So recast Kinnan. No, no rock, no dork. Kind of weird. But then again, it is what it is. He does what he can with what he has. Sure, so technically, Korvold has no. He has a few counterspell, but no real stacks. WUHeliod will cast a Jeweled, sack Jewel to get WUHeliod in. He'll try to pay to get WUHeliod flipped. So it's a 4/4. So we'll do it if he flips 4/6. So that's the time to do a Dismember. So the name of the game is Do Not Let WUHeliod Flip. If he does, he plays at flash speed. It's actually super good. This is one of the commander that I know that I cannot leave on the board. So we'll sack, we'll fetch, it will trigger. Fetches, triggers Korvold. He'll drop a Mox Diamond, not pitching anything. As a dancer, he will have to sack it. Get sacked. Korvold triggers, draws a card. Do that. I'm just thinking about another deck. Mox Opal, Nezahal trigger. Goes to combat. Triggers, sack Mox Opal. He's drawing like a madman. Sisay goes on. Oh god, Smothering Tide. Worst card ever. If you ever seen something that is destroying a game, especially with an WUHeliod, because WUHeliod wants to draw. Smothering Tide triggers Nezahal. Well, triggers Kitten, triggers Nezahal. He doesn't mind about his Kitten triggers. So he will most probably flicker something. Evoking Endurance. Targeting Korvold. Yeah, Korvold has a lot of reanimate. So it's not a bad idea to actually just try to get rid of that. So on the stack, Deflecting SWAT, saying, no, Sisay will go and Smothering Tide, Nezahal triggers, Smothering Tide triggers. So stacking the triggers, he put the Evoke trigger first, then he put the Graveyard Shenanigans after. So the Graveyard Resolve, beyond the stack of the Sacrifice Endurance, he will Convoke into a bird, which is pretty sure he's looking for mana or something. And this allows him to use Endurance to Convoke because it's still there before he has to sacrifice it, that was a nice play, a well thought out play. Sometimes playing with your stack is what makes the difference between an average player and a good player. Not knowing how to layer your stacks and not knowing how to play around the stack makes a whole world of difference between cEDH player. Tezzeret. So if Tezzeret resolve, he'll go get Basalt. With Basalt, he'll be able to get Infinite. The thing is, I don't see how he wins yet. Well, it's because he gets Infinite colorless. So he has 1, 2. He could get 2 blue, 2 green, get 2 Kinnan activation, which is not bad. So Tezzeret still on the stack. Fierce Guardianship.
There's a hull triggers, smothering type triggers. So the problem with, as soon as you try to counter something, Kinnan will get a card which could be another counterspell. But at that point, it's either you try to do something and stop him now, or you'll never stop him. So Pact of Negation. God. Let's hope somebody else has an answer. Could be someone is sandbagging an answer, waiting for whatever it is. So let's say WUHeliod add a swan song. He's not gonna be able to use that swan song because Tezzeret is a planeswalker. He could, however, swan song the Pact. So sometimes people will say I don't have any interaction for that. Sure, DCM, ETBing, copying the Fierce Guardianship to counter the Pact of Negation. Force of Will on the Fierce Guardianship. So he was ready to rumble. Now let's the stack resolve. Tezzeret gets in. Still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Sword to Plowshare on the Kinnan. So Sword to Plowshare, no way, can't be. Offer on the Sword to Plowshare. So he actually had 3 counterspell in hand, making sure that he's not stopping. He's paying for the tide. Sure, at that point, it is what it is. He's gonna get 2 treasures anyway. Tezzeret goes for 3. I missed the part where how he wins. So, ouch, Moxember. So, taps for 4, tries to untap it for 3. He will both sage you the Basalt. As an answer, he will untap, so grab the extra colorless, taps a Mox Diamond to untap it again. So on the Boseiju, he'll make infinite colorless. On that infinite colorless, while he puts infinite colorless in his pool, Boseiju will kill the Basalt. But once you've got 1 million colorless, you can do a bunch of stuff. Question is, what? Some Kinnan player are playing Ballista, which is a decent card. Some other will just say, sure, finally of Devastation for Thrasios. Absolutely. So he'll finally have Devastation for Thrasios, use his infinite colorless to draw a bunch of cards, and of course he has 2 blue to Toroko. So unless somebody has a way to stop him, he will actually close the game. Congratulations to the Kinnan player, well played. That was the... if I remember, it was the Noob Invitational. So I did a special tournament with a bunch of friends of mine for this channel. That's why it's called Noob Invitational. And I don't even remember who won, but it was a win per table. So at that point, congratulations to the Kinnan player. If you learned something, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I would like to thank you all for being here. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next game.